And this last one is called Lullaby. I should have figured this out before I got here, but it was almost like 10 years ago. A woman killed all 5 of her children. She was homeschooling the children, and she killed them while her husband was at work. They were a Christian couple. She had had some mental illness, and I found it amazing that he still left her alone with the children all day. So I wrote this poem, people were saying what kind of mother would do that, so I wrote this poem trying to imagine her point of view. So it's called Lullaby. Her husband's name was Russ, and the children's names were Noah, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Mary. All right. It was Russ who wanted children, as many as we can handle, he said back then, as many as I could bear. Even before the first one came, things started to change. My muscles strained to cradle the child, my back bowed under its weight. I vomited smells, dreamed of black angels, came out of myself. But Russ would hug me from behind, snake his arms between my breasts and the rise of my stomach, rest his chin on my shoulder. You're beautiful when you're pregnant. I trusted his knowledge of good and evil. Once I struck the dog with the flat side of the skillet. Instead of laying with his pain, he fled in circles, trying to run from it. I couldn't help laughing. But in labor, I came to understand there is pain you sit with and pain that forces you to run. I held back for 20 hours, refusing to let the child part my bones. Then finally, they cut him free. Noah cried as they put him in my arms. His face was round, his mouth already hungry. His hands knotted in tight fists. I saw that he had lived well at my expense. I turned to the midwife and handed the baby back. Russ couldn't understand what kind of mother wouldn't nurse her child, but when Noah smelled me coming, he'd throw his head from side to side, screaming, clamping his mouth against the shove of my nipple. By the time he latched onto me, he was so hungry, he drew the milk like blood. It seemed my giving would never stop hurting. Noah was just walking when another child quickened. Russ was proud as Jacob, fulfilled by the promise of so many sons, from a wife everyone knew was barren. You are beautiful, pregnant, he'd say, then use my hair to twist me in his bed, make sure I knew I was his. By the time I realized marriage tied the knot to only one of us, it was too late. I became everyone in my own fairy tale, my own trapped princess, my own evil stepmother, my own knight in shining armor, my own fire-breathing monster. First Noah, then Paul, then Luke, then John. Russ started working late, said the boys drove him crazy, said I shouldn't spare the rod and spoil the child. Starting at 5 each day, Noah would ask, "When's Daddy coming home?" "Soon. In a little while. After you get on your pajamas." But no answer satisfied him like the jingle of keys in the door. How can you eat my food? Wear these clean clothes? Keep me up at night with your cough? Sit on my lap as I use the bathroom? Play with warm cooked dough? And still only love your father? "Can I stay up till he comes?" Noah asked. I answered with my fist. Mary was the last. She's the only one I didn't suckle. I did her a favor and let her cry herself to sleep. She must learn to tell her own bedtime stories. She will never confront me one day, demanding to know why I had fed her lies. How does a mother take her children and drown them one by one? She serves them lunch of chocolate milk and Demerol. She watches them slump at the table, lifts them into her arms, careful not to bump their heads as she passes through doors. She gently tucks them in the tub, runs the faucet slow and warm, kisses them all good night, until they hush-a-bye, hush-a-bye, hush-a-bye down. I sent Noah outside to play, but he is my first, and he knows me. He comes in to see what's wrong, finds me lowering Mary into the water. "Mommy, what are you doing?" He is the only one who fights me back, the one who first made me a mother, the one who struggles hardest to ensure that's what I remain. "Russ," I say on the phone, You need to come home. He hears my voice and already knows what he has done. Once I hit the dog in the face with the back of the skillet. He tried to run from the pain. When I think about that, it still makes me laugh.